Halito. April here with Aaliyah Creative. Thank you so much for joining me. We are going to be working in my Let It Be journal. A cup of something and have a sit down and create alongside me. I am just pulling out some of the ephemera that I have made from scrap papers, gathering it all out here to see if maybe something feels like what I might want to use today. To do this page in this journal, I am working intuitively, which is one of the reasons that I'm doing a voiceover instead of with me, because it can be a little bit tricky because I don't always know exactly where I'm going next. And sometimes I think I'm doing one thing, and then the next thing you know, I have completely done something else. So just a little background there. And yeah, I'm excited that you are here with me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help my channel grow. And comment below if you enjoy making your own ephemera to put in your journal, or if that's something that overwhelms you, or if it's something that you've never really thought about before. I would love to know. So this particular journal is a very inexpensive journal that I got from Michael's on clearance. I believe it cost $3. And I may have mentioned this in another video, but basically I bought this as a test journal. A little bit concerned that I, might not use it. And I've really been wanting one of the Archer and Olive journals, but I said, okay, if I get this cheaper one, use it, like it, and fill it up, then I can upgrade for the next one. So that's kind of the purpose behind it. So I've selected my piece of ephemera. This is Pidge. He is a pigeon. And we are in my Daphne's Diary magazine. And here I'm just looking for some sort of background paper to use. And I love Daphne's Diary because it really fits my style. I love to buy it just to look through it, but I do purposely buy it with the idea of tearing it up. And I just find so much. So I encourage you to find magazines where you really love the images, the typography. You can certainly use any magazine to be creative, but I do find that if you actually really love the images in the magazines, it can be a little bit easier. So I've ripped out a few because I do love ripping paper out. And here I'm just lining it up on the page, trying to get an idea, is this something that I like the layout? I don't always do this, like test it out. So I was in a especially different mood today because a lot of times oh well, here I'm ripping it up because I did glue down some ephemera, and then I decided I wanted to layer. So yeah, that's me. I ripped it right up, didn't tear it, so that's fantastic. Going in with our trusty glue here. And just getting that stuck down on the edge. You can see I left some bits of the non-pink colored page on there. I could certainly have torn those off, but for the purposes here, I am just going to leave it like it is, because this journal is all about experimenting and just kind of working intuitively. I just start grabbing things and putting them in. And so this journal is an interesting collection of different things. So I might start out with, some pages being something like this one's going to turn out to be. Others, it may be where I am actually journaling some, working through some thoughts, playing with backgrounds. And none of it is meant to be perfect because it is about letting it be, which is a phrase that has been really important to me for the last couple of years. Because sometimes when you are a perfectionist, you really do need to just let things be. And there's so many areas of my life where let it be as a phrase has been incredibly important to me. So when I got this journal and I didn't know what to do with it, I thought, what if I don't have a purpose for this journal? What if this journal is is just I do whatever and I just let it be that. I don't try to, of course, make it perfect. I don't try to fit it into any real genre or whatever you want to call it. But here I'm creating a bit of a border, and I do apologize. I have gotten it a little off the edge here. All right, so now I do have our edges put on, and then I'm just layering our little friend Pidge. I ripped his head off by accident. That's okay. We just glue it back on. And then just testing out some different pieces of ephemera that I have here on my desk to see if there's anything else that I feel is going to work. I decided to go with this watercolor paper that I had written trust with a white marker over the top and glued it on. And then I just grabbed my scissors and trim around the edges of any of those papers that are overhanging. Sometimes I wait and do it at the end of my journal session. Sometimes I do it as I go, but I find it's easier than lining up the pages precisely to the end. And I'm just really pressing down here, making sure that we've got everything glued on so that it's not coming up, and trimming down some of those edges there so that the book will open and close smoothly. And then ripped out a little bit more paper. So I do have the theme here since I have my little friend Pidge, and then we have trust, and then I'm writing in the date. That's something that I have been doing in this book consistently, so I'm just kind of staying with it. I'm not I decided to use a creative reference book next. I do that from time to time when I'm working intuitively and I get stuck. I might go onto Pinterest to get ideas. I might grab a journal of mine to get inspiration, or sometimes I will grab a book or workbook from someone and get some ideas from there. So for this one, I recently checked out Creative Doodling and Beyond by Stephanie Corfey from the local library. It's one I had actually gotten on Kindle, checked out from Kindle once before, so I kind of knew what was in it. And just flipping through to get some inspiration that can really help whenever you get to. I totally recommend checking out some books from the library or having some on your Kindle that you can look through, or if you have a collection that you've already purchased, definitely make use of that whenever you're stuck. So I decided to go with the option where you're creating some letters with doodling around them. And I decided to go with the phrase, "It's okay to mess up. Trust me, I do it all the time," because I certainly do. And it's really okay. It is part of the learning process. It allows you to make mistakes, to grow, to learn things, to explore your supplies, and all of those things are important. And it's much more important than having a precise or perfect page. And as I'm doing this, it did bother me just a bit that the pen was lighter than the Sharpie marker that I used for the larger letters. However, I made peace with that, and the little doodles, I know that it's really hard to see it in the video, but it's basically some little bugs. And then on the second one, I did like kind of a rainbow around the top. And then on the U, kind of a sky, stars, and moon scene. And it was really a fun thing. And then down on the bottom, I decided to put some little cats around the edge because, of course, we already have our little friend Pidge on the page. So, of course, I had to add his trusty buddy in, even if you can't see it very well at the bottom, and that would be Goop. And they are always up to something. Decided that the next step would be to just go in and do some documenting. I had made those little bullet points, so I went in with the pen and I just kind of filled in some of the things that I had done that day. Oh gosh, this was a fun day too. So we went to walk at one of our local parks, and then my son and I went and we grabbed some wonderful barbecue brisket baked potatoes and went to another new park and had a little picnic for lunch. I did some journal pages on the go. This is all back before I hurt my toe, and now I can't do much of anything that involves going. I also collected some flowers while we were out to press in the book. I picked up some food for my daughter. I came home and had some more art journal times. That is kind of what I wrote in, just documenting my day. Then I added in some little balloons because why not? Why not? I decided that it needed a little bit of color, so I went in with one of my Sharpie Creative markers. Just added some bits here and there. Yeah, this is just an intuitive page. It's definitely nothing that is fantastic or earth-shattering. I had a lot of fun doing it. I got to use my supplies. I got to document what I did. I got to use some of my ephemera, my characters that I created to weave their way in. So fun time. Thank you so much for joining me.